Inflammation is not loud at first. It doesn't announce itself with pain or fever. It works quietly, deep inside the tissues, accelerating the ticking of the biological clock. Many people think aging is about time, but biologically, aging is more about chronic inflammation, low-grade, persistent, and relentless. If inflammation is aging you, the solution doesn't always come from something complex or expensive. Sometimes it comes from a small daily ritual, a simple shot that speaks directly to the chemistry of your cells. Chronic inflammation is one of the most underestimated forces shaping how the body ages. Unlike acute inflammation, which is protective and temporary, chronic inflammation operates silently in the background, creating continuous cellular stress. Immune cells remain mildly activated for years, releasing inflammatory messengers that slowly damage proteins, DNA, and cell membranes. This persistent state accelerates biological wear long before visible signs of aging appear. Wrinkles, joint stiffness, cognitive slowing, and metabolic decline are not sudden events. They are downstream consequences of years of inflammatory signaling that never fully shut off. As inflammation lingers, tissues lose their ability to repair efficiently. Stem cells become less responsive, mitochondria generate more oxidative byproducts, and blood vessels stiffen under constant immune pressure. The body begins to allocate more energy to defense than to regeneration, subtly shifting from a state of renewal to one of survival. This is why two people of the same chronological age can age so differently at the biological level. The difference often lies in how inflamed their internal environment has been over time. Aging, then, is not simply about accumulating years, but about accumulating inflammatory decisions made daily by diet, stress, sleep, and movement. When inflammation becomes the default state, the body forgets how to return to balance, and aging accelerates at the cellular level. Extra virgin olive oil functions in the body as far more than a source of fat or energy. In its unrefined form, it carries a dense concentration of polyphenols that interact directly with cellular signaling pathways. These compounds influence how genes related to inflammation and oxidative stress are expressed, quietly shifting the internal environment toward repair and stability. Rather than blocking inflammation aggressively, olive oil helps modulate immune responses so they remain proportional to the body's actual needs. At the level of blood vessels, these bioactive molecules support endothelial function, allowing arteries to remain flexible and responsive. This reduces mechanical stress on the cardiovascular system and improves nutrient and oxygen delivery to tissues. Inside cells, olive oil strengthens lipid membranes, making them more resistant to oxidative damage and less likely to trigger inflammatory alarms. Mitochondria, the energy-producing centers of the cell, also benefit, as healthier membranes mean more efficient energy production with fewer reactive byproducts. Over time, these subtle effects compound. Each tablespoon becomes a molecular message that favors resilience over degeneration. Instead of forcing change, olive oil works by restoring biological context, reminding the body how to operate in a low-stress regenerative state. Aging slows not because time stops, but because the cellular environment becomes calmer, more efficient, and less prone to self-inflicted damage. Turmeric introduces a unique kind of intelligence into the body, one that understands the difference between necessary inflammation and destructive excess. The active compound curcumin interacts with multiple inflammatory pathways simultaneously, not to shut them down, but to recalibrate their intensity. This matters because inflammation is essential for healing and defense, yet damaging when it becomes constant. Curcumin helps restore timing, allowing inflammatory signals to rise when needed and fall when their job is done. At the cellular level, curcumin influences transcription factors that regulate stress responses and immune activity. By doing so, it reduces the continuous production of inflammatory messengers that accelerate tissue breakdown and aging. It also supports antioxidant systems already present in the body, enhancing the cell's ability to neutralize oxidative stress without overwhelming natural defenses. This creates an environment where repair can occur more efficiently and with less collateral damage. What makes turmeric especially valuable is its patience. Its effects are cumulative, subtle, and adaptive, rather than immediate and forceful. Over days and weeks, this gentle modulation helps immune cells become less reactive, tissues less irritated, and metabolic pathways more balanced. The body responds not with suppression, but with cooperation. gradually shifting away from chronic inflammation and toward a state of controlled resilience and internal harmony. Black pepper plays a deceptively small yet biologically strategic role in this combination. Its active compound alters how certain substances are processed in the digestive system, temporarily slowing the enzymes that would normally break them down too quickly. This allows compounds, like curcumin, to remain intact long enough to be absorbed into the bloodstream, where they can exert meaningful physiological effects. Without this assistance, much of turmeric's potential would pass through the body unused. Beyond absorption, piperine itself has mild anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that contribute to the overall effect. It influences gut permeability and digestive signaling in a way that enhances nutrient uptake without overwhelming the system. This highlights an important principle of human biology. Effectiveness is often determined not by the strength of a compound, but by how well it integrates into existing processes. Black pepper reminds us that healing is rarely about single agents acting alone. The body operates as an interconnected network, where timing, dosage, and cooperation matter more than intensity. In this context, piperine acts as a facilitator rather than a force, ensuring that beneficial compounds reach their targets with minimal waste. This quiet collaboration mirrors how the body itself maintains balance, relying on coordination rather than dominance to support long-term health and cellular resilience. Small daily rituals have a disproportionate influence on how the body ages, because biology responds more to consistency than intensity. The body adapts to repeated signals, adjusting gene expression, enzyme activity, and immune behavior based on what it encounters most often. A simple daily shot may seem insignificant in isolation, but when repeated over weeks and months, it becomes a steady biochemical message that shapes internal priorities. Cells begin to anticipate these inputs and reorganize their responses around them. Each day, the body is choosing between pathways of repair and pathways of defense. Chronic stress, poor nutrition, and inflammation push physiology toward constant vigilance, where energy is diverted away from regeneration. Intentional rituals gently counterbalance this trend. They reduce background noise in the system, allowing repair mechanisms to operate with less interference. Over time, these micro-adjustments accumulate into measurable changes in metabolic efficiency, immune tolerance, and tissue resilience. Aging does not accelerate in dramatic leaps. It speeds up through thousands of small decisions made at the cellular level. When daily habits support calm signaling and reduced inflammation, the trajectory subtly shifts. The body remains responsive rather than reactive, adaptable rather than rigid. Longevity, in this sense, is not engineered through extremes, but cultivated through quiet, repeatable acts that continuously remind the body how to return to balance and maintain internal coherence.